inside the Pat Bowlen Fieldhouse for Broncos Country Connected. While the new year brought a renewed sense of hope for many, for those in Broncos country, it also brought a feeling of sadness as we learned of the passing of legendary NFL player and Ring of Fame head coach Dan Reeves. From 1981 to 1992, Coach Reeves led the Denver Broncos to 6 playoff berths, 5 AFC West titles, and 3 Super Bowl appearances, setting the stage for this organization's most memorable years. Coach Reeves played an integral part in acquiring some of the greatest players in franchise history, including Hall of Fame safety Steve Atwater. Steve now joins Matt Boyer to talk about the life, legacy, and lessons he learned from his former head coach, Dan Reeves.
Steve, you said on Twitter this past week when the news broke of Dan Reeves' passing that it's hard to put into words what he meant to you. Now, after you've had a couple of days to reflect, what kind of impact did he have?
He had a huge impact. Just, the type of person he was, the way he handled his business, the way he treated his family. He was a big role model for me, and he helped me to become a better player and a better person. Just, again, from watching him operate and getting the chance to know him not only as a coach, but as a friend and a mentor.
Dan was the head coach who drafted you, was one of the first voices that you heard on the phone when you got to Denver.
That's right.
One of the first people that you saw when you landed here. So what do you remember about your first impression? I know a lot of Broncos fans, their first impression was, that sharply dressed head coach. But for you, what was that first impression with Dan Reeves?
Well, I'd already known that, he'd been to several Super Bowls, and I was pretty excited about that. And when I first saw him, he just looked like a successful person and looked like a great leader, and he turned out to be all those things that I got from that first impression.
When Dan arrived in Denver, Denver had only had 1 Super Bowl appearance. After he arrived, they go to 3 in the 1980s, a great run to be sure. What about Dan's coaching style do you think allowed Denver, this Broncos franchise, to have that type of success and kind of jump to that national stage?
Well, again, he was a great leader. I think he did a good job of playing the guys who he knew were good players. Some coaches will play players just because they said they're supposed to be playing, versus Dan. He played the guys who deserved to play, the guys who worked hard, who earned it. And, that made a huge difference in the win-loss record as well. He coached you sometimes hard, sometimes softly, but he knew just the right amount of either loving or getting on you that you needed.
Well, he walked that line to be sure. He had 3 Hall of Famers that he coached here in Denver, 6 Ring of Famers, and 1 Ring of Famer, Coach Mike Shanahan, gave him his first opportunity in the NFL. So when it comes to identifying talent, why do you think Coach Reeves had so much success?
Well, I think one is, he'd been around the game for so long. His time as a player with the Cowboys and then as a coach with the Cowboys, then throughout all of his years of coaching, he just knew the game of football. He knew what real players look like, and he knew what frauds look like. And he tried to keep the frauds away. And he identified the great players and great coaches.
When most coaches leave football, Steve, it's often said that you leave football, but football doesn't leave you. And that was certainly the case with Coach Reeves. I know dementia took its toll in his later years, but for him, seeing him come back in 2014 to be inducted into the Broncos Ring of Fame, that was a special moment for him. I know it was a special moment for you. What was that like, seeing Coach Reeves go into the Ring of Fame?
It was super special. He was so deserving of it. And I remember when we played them in the Super Bowl 33, when he was coaching for the Falcons, I wish that both teams could have won. Well, not the full team. I don't wish the whole Falcons, but I wish Coach Reeves could have won as well. He had coached so many years, had such a big impact on so many people's lives, and I wish that he could have gotten that joy that we got. But yeah, seeing him get into the Ring of Fame, I was super proud of him and super happy for him.
201 wins as a head coach, Steve, for his NFL career. More than 100 with Denver. More wins than guys like Bill Parcells, Bill Cowher, Marv Levy, all Hall of Famers. It seems like the logical next step is to put Dan Reeves into the Hall of Fame himself. So, as a guy with a bronze bust and a gold jacket, How much do you think that would mean to Coach Reeves' family and this Broncos community at large?
Yeah, with him having coached in here in Denver, also in New York, and also in Atlanta, and going to the Super Bowl in both Atlanta and here, and winning Super Bowls as a player, it's absolutely deserving. A great coach, great record, as you said. I think it would mean the world to his family and also to players like me and other coaches who've coached with him to see him get that honor and get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A special player, a special person, a special coach, that next step, hopefully, Canton, Ohio. Alexis, we'll send it back to you.
Our thoughts are with the Reeves family and all of Broncos country as we mourn the loss of another legend. Now, coming up after the break, Ryan Harris will join me for film review as we look back at Denver's Week 17 loss to the LA Chargers.
Broncos Country Connected is brought to you by Ford Trucks. Built better, built stronger, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Broncos Country Connected. The Denver Broncos were without 10 of their usual starters and rotational players against the Chargers due to COVID-19, but as safety Justin Simmons said, it can't be used as an excuse. It was death by inches as detrimental mistakes in all three phases cost the Broncos their shot at a winning record and officially eliminated them from playoff contention for the 6th straight season as they fell at SoFi Stadium 34-13.
Today, the Broncos on the coast in Los Angeles to face the Los Angeles Chargers. The Broncos certainly have their work cut out for them with a number of COVID issues.
Drew Lock makes his second consecutive start. The Broncos under 500. Things have not gone according to plan.
Going to be interesting. And like the Grateful Dead said back in 1970, Dave, what a long, strange trip it's been.
This is a series that has gone the Broncos' way, actually. Vic Fangio, in this his third season, has a 4-1 record against the LA Chargers as the head coach of the Broncos.
Drew Lock played pretty well last week. If he can build on that performance, don't turn the ball over, and give his team a chance to win today.
Lock in the pocket, throws the ball that is caught, and that'll be a first down. Courtland Sutton with the catch. And he went straight ahead, first down Denver. Eckler took the handoff and almost simultaneously got a mouthful of two Broncos. That's a great veteran receiver against a possibly great young corner. What a battle. Now, some of these young guys that are forced into action today have really played pretty doggone well. Micah Kaiser, I've called his name a lot.
And Broncos they just can't catch a break. They do something good, then they do something bad.
Sort of a microcosm of the Broncos' offensive year. That is it. Final score from Los Angeles. Chargers beat the Broncos 34-13.
Well, now, thanks to FanDuel, Ryan Harris joins me now to highlight some of the things we wish we would have seen more of against the Chargers, starting with this stellar snag by Courtland Sutton in the second quarter.
What a play this was, and what I love is that Drew Lock executed it well. You'll see the linebackers, they start right here. They're going to come up. That's you often hear about the play-action pass, what it does to linebackers. It forces them to come in, and part of that is because Drew Lock puts out his hand and shows them the football. But then this is all Courtland Sutton. He adjusts in the air, comes back for the football, but Drew Lock also threw it 40 yards in the air.
Right.
So as the play develops, you're going to see those linebackers bite up. That means a play-action pass. They actually thought it was a run. They come flying up, drop back, and then there's Courtland Sutton looking for the ball, adjusts to it at the last second, gets in front of the defender, perfect pitch and catch. What a play, one of the best of the day.
Well, now we'll fast forward to the third quarter. Pat Surtain with the difficult task of defending Keenan Allen all day, but the rookie hung in there with the vet quite nicely Sunday afternoon.
And I love this play we're about to see. It goes down as a pass breakup, but this is veteran savvy. Anytime you're facing a wide receiver as a cornerback and you push your hands over where their body is, typically that turns into a pass interference. But one of the things Patrick Surtain does on this play, he kind of plays some basketball, right? He stands up to block a three-point shot without moving his hand up, changes the entire play, deflects the football, and also saves a penalty. So here he is at the top of your screen playing press man. And then when he gets there, he's not going to follow Keenan Allen. He's just going to stand there and put his hands up. I like to show it to you from the other side because you even see Keenan Allen looking for the penalty. So here's the play. Justin Herbert reads it, and then boom, the pass deflection. And look at him watch for the referees. Oh, man, I didn't get the call. No, you didn't, because Pat Surtain was playing like a veteran, knew that Keenan Allen was looking for that, and just wanted to make sure he got out without a penalty.
Well, Pat Surtain now has 14 passes defensed on the season, which is tied for the second most by a Broncos rookie since 1999. Pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Well, now let's go ahead and fast forward to the final frame. Noah Fant had his best showing of the season with 6 catches for 92 yards, including this one for a touchdown late in the game.
And I love the effort by the Broncos offense going to score at this point of the game.
Right.
And this is really Drew Lock and his development. Drew Lock's going to look at the defense, make them dictate what he has, and then he's going to find the open Noah Fant because he understands where the holes are. And it starts with Javonte Williams. He's going to be right here. He's going to run what they call the angle route or the flat route to the side. Now that's going to force this safety, who's going to have to vacate quickly, to come and cover that. As soon as Drew Lock sees that, he's going to hit Noah Fant coming across to right where that safety was for the touchdown. That's using the defense and forcing them to decide before you make a decision. That lets you know that Drew Lock's going to the line of scrimmage with an open mind, but a concept of what he's seeing. I love this play so much. So as the play develops, here goes the safety. That's going to clear out that space right there, and there's 6 points for the good guys. So excellent use by Drew Lock, creating that situation, delivering a timely throw, and of course, Alexis, great protection by the O-line.
Now finally, something I'm sure this defense is examining, and I think they hope to learn from this week, is Mike Williams, his 45-yard touchdown reception.
And this was a backbreaker at this point in the game. Now this is what they call a breakdown in coverage. Watching this film, I'm not sure that Kareem Jackson is in his correct place. If so, that means that Justin Simmons is going to be the single high safety. In single high safeties, they have to be deeper than the deepest. So already he's got a lot of ground to cover. If you're Justin Simmons, somebody should be covering this half or this quarter of the field at least. But right away, Justin Herbert sees there's something funny going on here. I'm either going to have a one-on-one matchup, or it's going to be double coverage with the safety that has to fly as fast and as far as my receiver who's getting a head start.
Right.
So when that catch happens, you'll see Justin Simmons and the other defenders for the Broncos have let Mike Williams get past them. That's something that cannot happen. This is textbook coverage breakdown. So as the play goes, you see Kareem Jackson jump up, but then there's no help behind, and that really hurts the play. And as the reception's being made, both defenders for your Broncos are behind the deepest player. That's why the touchdown happened.
And that's the way the cookie crumbled. Ryan, thanks so much.
Anytime.
All right, well, coming up after the break, Ryan, Lionel, and Troy will discuss the importance of this Saturday's game against the Chiefs, even though the playoffs are no longer in reach. But first, here are the best stills snapped by Gabriel Christis Sunday at SoFi. Welcome back to Broncos Country Connected. This Saturday will mark the final game of the 2021 season for the Denver Broncos as they host the Kansas City Chiefs at Empower Field. While we all wish this game had playoff implications, a win this weekend could give this team confidence for their future heading into the offseason. With more on what we should hope to see Saturday, here's Lionel Bienvenu, Troy Renck, and Ryan Harris.
Thanks, Alexis, and welcome to our Denver 7 segment brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Ryan and Troy, here we are, guys. The last game of the season against the Chiefs at Empower Field at Mile High. A few weeks ago with the Broncos at 7-6, we thought this game might mean everything for the playoffs. As it stands, the Broncos have been eliminated with the loss to the Chargers. Ryan, let's start with you. Vic Fangio said on Monday this team was close, on the cusp of getting to where they want to be. In your mind, how close are they to being a playoff team?
Well, I mean, you always get in danger when a coach says, hey, we're close, because you have to define that to your team. So making sure that Vic Fangio has explained what close means to the team, that's the most important thing. But they are close if you look at the fact that they were ravaged by COVID this last game. You get another quarterback in there to make it competitive. a couple of linebackers, and you are one of the top teams in the NFL. But really this season, it's hard to say they're close, especially with the special teams blunders we saw last Sunday. It's been a rough year for the Broncos, a rough year for a lot of the teams, but you are close as long as you're in the NFL with the talent you have on the roster.
Well, Troy, the Broncos were close to getting there before a 3-game losing streak here at the end of the season. What do they need in your mind to go from close to actually getting there?
It's really simple for me. I've been saying this for years. They got to score more points. They've got to be able to where they can score 25 points a game, week-to-week basis. When you do that, you're a playoff team in the NFL. It is very difficult, the way the league is set up now, to win without a good quarterback, and it's impossible to win 20-17, 17-14. It's not sustainable, even with a good defense, what the Broncos have on most weeks. But what would close mean to me? To get to where you're a playoff team, Lionel, it means you are significantly improved offensively this offseason.
Well, Ryan, it looks like Drew Lock will end the season as QB1 against the Chiefs. Numbers were not bad against the Chargers, but what does Drew need to do better to get there and beat the Chiefs on Saturday?
Well, first he needs some better protection. Protection was an issue last Sunday, but I like where Drew Lock has played. He's got 2 consecutive games without throwing an interception. He needs to continue to play in that role. Throw for 240 to 300 yards without turning the ball over, and he can help you win. I think he's helped the downfield passing really jump since he's gotten into the game. So I like what Drew Lock has done with this opportunity, and he's got one more game to show that he belongs as a quarterback in the NFL.
Troy, the Chiefs will be coming in hot. They have something to play for. The #1 seed in the AFC, home field advantage, a first-round bye. We're going to get their best shot on Saturday. Troy, what do the Broncos have to do to win this game?
Well, at some point, they've got to get their ground game back on track. They have absolutely vanished on the ground these past 2 weeks. And Ryan said, Drew Lock has shown us something. He was tougher than truck stop beef jerky against the Chargers. He's shooting up to stay in a meaningless game. I like that, but he's got to play a little better on 3rd down. And he's got to be able to make plays with his feet once in a while. He came up short on the 1 scramble, but they've got to run the ball, and they've got to get a couple takeaways. Anything fewer than 2 takeaways, they're not going to upset the Chiefs, and they're not going to end that darn losing streak.
All right. Thanks, guys. Now it's time to take you behind the face mask as we get to know Broncos players and what they're like off the field. This week it's Javonte Williams. A lot of ways to describe the way he runs: a truck, a raging bull, a human bowling ball. Take your pick. But as Nick Rothschild shows us, horse might be the best one.
Speed. Power. Grace. Javonte Williams is like a horse.
Yeah, people do say that a lot, but I mean, I don't know.
The thing is, those people don't know how close to the mark they really are.
Really, I feel like it was just growing up watching movies and stuff, because my granddad watched Westerns a lot. And like they had horses in like every single scene, so I think that's really where my love for horses started.
Williams is a bit of a cowboy. He finds peace on the back of a Palomino.
Where I'm from, like a whole lot of people got horses. So like on the weekends, we just get up and like go on trail rides, stuff like that. Nah, definitely full speed. Nah, not full speed. I just be walking them. Cause I ain't trying to like fall off or nothing. So I don't be crazy. My mama, like, she told me she don't even really let me ride them like I used to. Cause like football and stuff, so.
He got his first horse at 13 years old, then added another during college when the pandemic shut school down.
At first, I thought we wasn't going back to school for like a long time. When I was in college, we was out for like a month. So I was thinking we weren't going back. So I was like, I want to buy a horse. And she was like, where you going to keep it at? So the same day I told her that, I went like built the fence, built everything. And then we found one. So she was like, since you did all that, she was like, I'll get it for you.
Pablo is the name of his current steed, but football is keeping them apart.
It's really like a dog, honestly, just a big dog. I ain't really seen him much since I got drafted, but I mean, when I was home, that's definitely the case. Like, I feel like y'all connected for real.
Speaking of horses, there's another Denver sports star who is equine inclined. Perhaps a chance for a new friend.
I feel like there's a relationship there between you and the big fella through horses.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got to meet him.
Well, that's all the time we have for Broncos Country Connected. From all of us here with the Denver Broncos and Denver 7, thanks for watching.
Broncos Country Connected is presented by Carpet Mill Outlets. Bigger discounts, better selections.